Guys, be sure to go down, subscribe if you want Dolphins news, rumors. We also have watch parties for every single Dolphins game. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you've come to the right place. Go down and hit that big red subscribe button. Welcome into Dolphins Today. I am Will Scott. Let's get into some free agent targets after the NFL trade deadline. You can't make any more trades now in the National Football League, so the only players that you can go out and acquire are free agents. And we begin here with our list, starting with number 10. That would be Daryl Williams, and he's actually retired. I know we've talked a lot about him, so you'd have to bring this guy to retirement. He was a pretty solid offensive tackle in Buffalo for years. I'm shocked that nobody signed him. So if you feel like you need an offensive tackle, which right now I don't really think you do because AJ's back and Brandon Shell's been playing pretty well. But, you know, let's say Shell starts to struggle or AJ just has a setback, then maybe you give Daryl Williams a call. I think you need a guard more, which is why Quinten Spain is on my list here. He was in Cincinnati last year. He's okay. I mean, nothing special, but he's better than Liam Eichenberg. Eichenberg's out. Robert Jones filling in to replace him. You do need a backup guard on your roster right now. Should the Dolphins sign a guard? Again, Eichenberg's on IR. You don't really have a backup guard right now. Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comment section. They'll probably elevate someone from the practice squad on Sunday. I think they need to sign a corner. Bouye is still out there and available. Certainly a big name and a decent option when you're looking at the available corners right now. He's one of the best corners. That remains unsigned. He's a free agent. I say at least look into him. And then Odell Beckham Jr. is on our list here as well. And I understand that you really don't need a wide receiver. You have Hill, you have Waddle, you have a really deep wide receiver room. But the Dolphins are a contender, and OBJ is by far the best free agent available. So you at least have to talk about him in a video like this, right? Here's what he did with the Rams last season. A lot of people thought this guy was washed. And then he goes to L.A. after his time in Cleveland was done and got away from Baker Mayfield and actually started to play really well again. Nearly 600 yards in 12 games, 7 tutties. I don't think the Rams win the Super Bowl with that OBJ. I mean, he was that big. And here's the argument for bringing him in. You really haven't had a third wide receiver emerge. Tyreek and Jalen have been two of the top 5 wide receivers in the league this season, at least in terms of yardage. Trent Sherfield's been your wide receiver 3. Ced Wilson was supposed to be that guy. He's got 4 receptions. He hasn't been that good. So if you sign OBJ, man, he will definitely be kind of the third wide receiver, slot wide receiver on this team and will make this offense even more dangerous. It might not make a lot of sense, but it would be a lot of fun to bring Odell Beckham Jr. to Miami. I'm all for it. And it'd be cheap. I mean, you're only signing him to practically a 5 or 6 game contract by the time he's ready to come back. Vet minimum deal, maybe $1 or $2 million, and just sign him for your playoff run. I'm all for it, man. Should Miami sign Odell Beckham Jr.? Type OBJ or type NOBJ down in the comment section. The Dolphins have a couple $1 million in cap space. He'd be pretty cheap. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. It's the pinned comment on today's video. When ad break comes, go down, chime in. Should Miami sign Odell Beckham Jr., who is still a free agent as he works his way back from that ACL tear in the Super Bowl back in February? Another offensive lineman is Eric Fisher. He comes in at number 6 here. Not as high because he got Brandon Shell playing well and AJ's back, but still, I think you got to put him on this list because he is the best offensive tackle that remains unsigned in NFL free agency. I think he's the best offensive tackle left. You could sign him. He could be your right tackle. He's a decent option here when you're talking about free agent options on the offensive line. But that's 10 through 6 right there. Williams, Spain, Bouye, Beckham Jr., and Fisher, 3 offensive linemen there when you're talking about my first 5 players. Before I get into my top 5, I want to tell you about our newest sponsor at Chat Sports. It's Established Titles. You can go to that link, establishedtitles.com/chat, and become a lord or lady today. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It's a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, lords, or ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelson Skyline. That's our land right there. We're going over my land. Did you see that? That's my land right there. Pretty cool. And they plant a tree with every order, work with global charities such as One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card. Plane ticket, dating profiles. Makes for a great last-minute gift. Look at this. I'm Lord William Scott. How cool is that? And our loyal subscriber, Fear the Kilt, is now Lord Campbell. So a couple of y'all have already gotten plots of land right next to me. The first 200 people to go to this link and purchase a plot of land right now, they will grab a Scottish plot of land right next to mine. So me, Fear the Kilt, all of us can build a Dolphins kingdom in Scotland. How cool is that? Makes for a perfect holiday gift as well. EstablishedTiles.com/chat. That link is in the comments and the description of this video. Go and become a Lord or Lady today. I'm Lord William Scott. I can't get over it. It's pretty cool. All right, that's my list right there, 10 through 6. Let's get into my top 5 now. And we begin with Malcolm Butler. He comes in at number 5 on my list, the Super Bowl hero from several years back. And when you look at him, he's a guy the Dolphins brought in a few weeks ago. They worked out Butler 2 weeks ago. They did not sign him, but a lot of times when a player gets signed, or I should say when a player works out, they're kind of working him out, and then they'll sign him later if they need him. Well, I think the Dolphins need a corner. There's a couple corners that we're going to be talking about on the show. I think Malcolm Butler is one of the better options out there because of his experience. He is a veteran, 84 career starts, 406 tackles, 100 games played, 82 pass breakups, 17 picks. Yeah, I mean, he's not the same player he was in New England when he was the Super Bowl hero, picking off Russell Wilson at the goal line to win that Super Bowl way back when for the Pats. But still, he's a decent player, and I think he could come in and do a decent job here for the Dolphins. We haven't really heard anything since he worked out 2 weeks ago, but still a name to monitor here. He's been kind of hopping back and forth with a couple different practice squads. Was on the Patriots practice squad, actually, a little bit earlier this season. He was an undrafted free agent 2014. Was on the Cardinals practice squad last season. So when you're talking about the negatives in terms of signing him, he hasn't been in the league in 2 years. Has not played in an NFL game in about 2 years. He spent the 2018 through 2020 seasons with the Tennessee Titans after spending 4 seasons with the Pats, 2014 to 2017. Let's talk about another corner. That's Joe Hayden. And much like Daryl Williams, he has retired, but I still think it's worth potentially giving Joe Hayden a call. And his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, over the summer, was asked about bringing in Joe Hayden in terms of him signing with the Dolphins. And he said, I've talked to Miami about Hayden, but I'm just not sure about the fit. But he said an injury to Xavier Howard, Nick Needham would change things, and a Jones setback. Well, we've had a couple Jones setback, it appears. Nick Needham's out for the year. So I think it makes a lot of sense to at least call Joe Hayden. He's still going to be in decent shape. He's just been retired for a couple weeks. You got to know he's staying in shape, waiting for a call. I think Joe Hayden makes a lot of sense. I really do. So is Ereck Fowlers. Mentioned earlier, asked y'all, do you want to sign a guard? I think we should. And I think that guy should be Ereck Fowlers. Bring him back to Miami. He was your starting guard 2 years ago, over 1,000 snaps at left guard in 2021, 25th ranked guard by PFF with a 72 grade. Traded from Miami to Washington after the 2020 season, and he's from Miami. Went to Norland High School and played at the U. So I think it'd be great to bring Flowers back. He'd be better than Eichenberg. I don't know about better than Robert Jones, but maybe a good backup to Jones potentially while Eichenberg is out. Another corner. Can you tell I want to sign a corner? It's Janoris Jenkins, man. Maybe the biggest name on our list here. He comes in number 2. I'm surprised he's still available, but certainly a name to watch here. I think he's going to get picked up here shortly after the trade deadline. After the deadline, typically you see some free agents get picked up. He might be one of those guys. But we just learned that Sidney Jones went unclaimed. He did not get picked up at the waiver wire Thursday during the 4 o'clock waiver wire, so he's a free agent. He's eligible to sign with anybody. I think you should sign him. Second-round pick by the Eagles in 2017. Released by the Seahawks yesterday. Was not claimed off of waivers. As we all know, Miami could really use some corner depth. I think they should sign Sidney Jones, bring him to Miami. I'm really excited to see he's out there and available. I'm a little bit disappointed that Chris Grier did not put in a waiver claim for him, but still, I think you need to take advantage of him being out there and available. You have the cap space, not a whole lot, but I think enough to sign Sidney Jones. But go down, name a free agent that you want to sign. I'm saying Sidney Jones. Who are you saying? OBJ, Joe Hayden maybe? Let me know down in the comment section who you want the Dolphins to sign. Let me talk about Sidney Jones again, though, because he had a pretty solid year last season in Seattle. Has some starting experience, played in 16 games, 11 game starts. The reason we're not showing his stats this season because he's only played in 3 games. But 10 pass breakups, 66 tackles, pretty decent PFF grade as well. He would be your second best corner, I think, if you brought this guy in. Let's break down my top 10 again. Daryl Williams, Quinten Spain, A.J. Bouye, OBJ, Eric Fisher. That's 10 through 6, 5 through 1. Malcolm Butler, Joe Hayden, Ereck Fowlers, Janoris Jenkins, Sidney Jones. That is 5 through 1 for me. Sidney Jones, really by far my number 1 target right now for Miami. And if they sign Jones or any of these other guys, we're going to let you know ASAP. We're going to get you guys a video. That's the sublink right there, youtube.com/Dolphins News. Subscribe and turn on your notifications because if you're on your notice, you won't miss anything.